Well, this is Farrell Yoakum. I want to mention today some of the more common classroom disruptions that we're seeing. Children are coming to us increasingly so and being rude, disrespectful, impolite, unkind to one another, to the teacher. And it's becoming such an issue these days that more and more teachers are leaving the profession. And the statistics say that about 40% of the teachers are leaving within 5 years. The number one reason is student behavior and the issues that student misbehaviors are causing. And that the number two reason is lack of support by administration in dealing with student behavior issues. And so there are some things that can be done. And that's one of the things that we work with is helping to provide a system that will respond to today's society. I want to read you a quote that I think is really very true. That it says that most discipline problems are not caused by bad students; they're often caused by unclear systems, and I think that's true. There are more and more students who come to us that are more difficult than ever, but still a very large majority of them do come compliant. It just takes a student to disrupt a class. Just one student can do that. And so if 80% of the students come compliant and 20% don't, that's 1 out of 5. And so we know that we can teach schools how to work with overcoming some of those issues because teachers are burning out and leaving, and we're often spending too much time during the day in trying to eliminate and work with disruptive student issues. So the increased disruptions are becoming a problem in schools all across the country. And we need to have a system that teachers can use in their classrooms, and then even better, a system that can be used throughout the school. Because if things aren't working well in all of the classrooms, then it's not going to be working the way that it should, in the way that should want it to work if you are an administrator in the school. So we know that there's a good loss of instructional time these days with those disruptions, and we should be working to try to make sure that we never allow a student to keep us from teaching and students from learning. And it will happen. We know it will happen, and even if you're a first year brand new teacher, it will happen to you, and you have to be prepared for it. And so there are a lot of things that we can do to help teachers to be prepared for that and for administrators to be prepared with a school-wide system. So many times what happens with teachers and even with schools is that their expectations they're inconsistent with their expectations. And one of the things that we have to do is to learn to have a consistency. I've even seen it in schools where if there's more than one assistant principal, or one assistant principal will handle things this way and the other will handle it the other way. So the same student comes to one assistant principal and they get a detention or they get some sort of a consequence. They go to see the other assistant principal and they get a conversation and a counseling and get sent back to the room. And teachers don't feel supported because they aren't certain what's going to happen when they go to the office. And there's a certain amount of the idea that that's okay to a certain extent, in that they don't have to know exactly what's going to be done, but there should be consistency. And when it's inconsistent, then that makes it difficult for students to know what to expect when they go there, and they should, and for teachers to know what to expect. Maybe not exactly what's going to be done, but that they will be held accountable for their actions. It's very important that our students are held accountable. We need an accountability system that works, and we have one that will work. And what's wonderful about it is that it's customizable to your school, because while so many things that happen in any school are similar to other schools, every school has some things that are different for it. Maybe not terribly unique for it, but different from the campus down the street or in another campus in the same district or even in a different district. So there's a lot of things that we can do to help generate a system that will work. And another thing that happens a lot I see is that administrators can become overwhelmed with discipline issues, and they know they need to be dealt with, but so often they just feel like the teacher should handle them in the room, and frankly, many times teachers should handle more in the room than they do. If a teacher has to send a student out of the room, they've given up a little bit of their power, and students can sense that. But if there are events that happen in the room that the teacher should expect to be supported by administration, and they send the student out of their room or request administrator assistance, the teacher should be supported. And it can be a teachable moment for the teacher that maybe they should um, learn how to handle more of those situations in their room. And of course, one of the things that can make a difference is the teacher well prepared with their lessons. But the biggest thing is to make sure that you're consistent in the way that you handle issues in the room. And that can begin, really, it begins with the expectations that the teacher has for student behavior in the classroom. And it's very important that they have those outlined clearly, and that they do enforce them consistently, that the rules are clear and communicated and concise, and that they will hold their students accountable. There is a link at the end of this video that will be useful for you. There's a free gift at the link. It also has an opportunity to book a call with me to discuss your situation and see if there's a way we can help. And so I think that in today's world, I believe, having run campuses myself for over 20 years, that teachers are looking for strong administration that will support their efforts to not permit students to keep them from teaching and other students from learning. Too much instructional time is wasted in many schools and many classrooms each day. And so a 45, 50, 55-minute segment of teaching can actually turn into only 20, 25, 30 minutes of actual instruction as the teachers deal with student issues. They should never stop their instruction. If the student is misbehaving, we can teach ways that they can address the misbehavior in a way that actually gains them respect from their students, but does not stop the teaching and stop the learning. We need all of our instructional time. It's quite valuable, and we can help to make sure that that time is sacred, that it's a business time. It's a time to take care of work, schoolwork, classwork, homework. Being a student requires work. And so I want to thank you for listening, and do take the opportunity to get the free gift at this shown below in the opt-in, and an opportunity for you to book a call with me, and look forward to working with you in the future.